I used AI to automate Yeti vlogs, as you can see right here, and you can automate the whole posting using this N8N automation that will show you exactly how it works step by step today. You can basically click a button, it will automate all the content, the idea, the vlog, the video, and then even post it to TikTok or any other platform that you want using this process. So let me show you an example of the video we made.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel.
So it's quite easy to automate these videos. Basically, what we're doing here is we're using an API for Veo 3, and it seems like you can be in any country to actually use these. Here's another example of the video that we've created earlier. So this is another automation.
Check this out, guys. Totally a pro.
And you can see some other examples right here as well. So essentially what we've got is 4 different stages inside the automation. Number 1 is the idea generation. Then from there, we're going to generate the prompts. From there, we're going to generate the videos. And then after that, we're going to auto post it to social media. Now, you can auto post this to Instagram, to TikTok, whatever you want using this N8N automation. And if you want to get if you just want to get like the JSON blueprint from me, you can actually steal it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can grab the JSON file directly inside here and download it. Let me show you how. So what you can actually do here is you can grab the JSON like so, download that, and then you can import it into N8N like you can see right here, right? So let me duplicate this tab and I'll create a live version with you, plus I'll show you how this works step by step. So the first stage here is we've got a scheduled trigger, so you can run this every 24 hours if you want, just once a day, and then just step by step you can run this automation and it will just run without you even touching anything, and it can generate the video, the prompt, etc. Right? From here, what we're actually doing is we've got a AI agent that generates videos for us, right? And so using this prompt, let's open this up. It says, give a funny idea related to the Yeti vlogging in surreal situations with a selfie stick. Should be first person. In the idea, describe the environment. Could be like riding on the bus, whatever you want, right? And then we've got some automations in terms of like how the JSON should be outputted, etc. If you want to steal this stuff from me, put the prompt inside the AI Profit Boardroom so that you can just get this step by step. If you want to steal it,
Hey guys, welcome back.
Alright, so if you want to steal the prompt from me, you've got it down there. And then if you want to see an example test run of this, let me show you an example. So if we hit test step on this, this will come up with new ideas each time. So for example, now it's like Yeti humorously struggles to pass a selfie stick on a crowded bus, on a bus crammed with confused passengers, right? So we can go with that one for now. What this also has is a structured output parser, and basically this is going to turn the output from the text into some JSON files for a caption, idea, environment, and status. We're going to use that for the prompt later, but essentially that just allows us to take the idea of the video and then pass it into a format that we can then later use to generate the video step by step. Now from here, what we've done is we've sent that to a Google Sheet where it captures all the information, right? So if we just test this step as a random example, you can see the one that was previously done here, and this is logged on this template. You can get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to steal it. Essentially, you've got the idea, the caption, the production, the environment, the final output, and the shorts output, right? The shorts output is actually a different automation that you get inside the AI Profit Boardroom, but essentially here you can see how it's taken the idea of skating on a frozen lake. It's come up with a caption for TikTok, which is auto-posted over here. So you can see the caption and the hashtags automatically posted onto Blotato. And then we've got the idea and everything else automatically sent to the spreadsheet, right? So this is a Google Sheet module. If we test this out, what we can actually do is test the next idea onto a Google Sheet. So wait for that to load. And then you can see that is now taken the new idea of the bus and plugged it into this spreadsheet. Nice, right? We haven't got the URL yet because we haven't generated the video yet. That'll come later in the automation, and we'll come onto that in a second. But essentially, that's how it works step by step. From here, we're going to send that information to this AI agent. Essentially, what this does is it's going to create a Veo 3 prompt based on the idea, which is, the Yeti going on the bus. It's going to use the environment as well. And then in the prompt as well, we just want to explain who's, the situation, who's vlogging, make sure that it says it's a Yeti, etc. Keep the prompt simple as well. You don't want it to be overcomplicated, but at the same time, you want it to be useful. And then inside the system message, we've also got some information on like how the AI agent should, create this, etc. Right? So if we hit test step like so, we should be good to go. Carlos Alfonso says already installed it. Now I'm trying to figure out how to combine it with the social media posting machine. So with this new automation that's inside the AI Profit Boardroom, this actually comes with the auto posting feature. So it's all linked together. You can just steal that from me. You don't need to figure it out. Okay? So we've now got the prompt and it says in the midst of a packed city bus, blah, blah, blah. Here's what the Yeti is going to do. And we'll use that to generate the Veo 3 output in a second. All right. So just to recap, we've got this schedule running every 24 hours. Then we've generated the idea for our Yeti vlogging. From here, we've plugged it into the Google Sheet, which you can see down here. And then now we've got the AI agent that has come up with a prompt for Google Veo 3. At this point, we need to start generating the video. Now, we're using something called FAL. FAL generates a video using the prompt that we generated from the AI agent before. We've got our FAL login details plugged in right here. If you need help with that, ask me inside the AI Profit Boardroom. But essentially, you can just put in authorization, and then you get your API key from FAL, which is kind of like OpenRouter, but for media APIs, for media AI generators. And you can plug in your Veo 3 endpoint like you can see right here. So if we click test step right now, what that's going to do is it's going to send that prompt of the Yeti on the bus over to Veo 3 via FAL. And you can see this is now generated. Now that's going to take probably about 3 or 5 minutes to get the output. What you can also see here is we're using generic credential type, and then we're sending the body. So the body type is JSON. We're using the fields below, prompt, and then JSON output. The JSON output is the prompt from the AI agent previously in the module. And then items batch we've set as 1 and 2000 milliseconds. Because if you're running like multiple modules at the same time, well, you need to give time between each batch, otherwise FAL's API is going to get overloaded. Now at this point you might be wondering, okay, what is FAL? So FAL, FAL.ai is a way to generate the requests via an API, right? So you can basically say, okay, N8N create videos via the FAL API for Veo 3. And you'll see inside FAL here, you can go to your dashboard, right? So if we go over to my account over here, we can go to our dashboard, we can get API keys, we can see our billing and how much we've been charged lately. We can see what we've been using the API for. And if we go over to explore in a second, right? So if we go to explore section over here, we've now got all these different options for APIs. Right? So the one that I'm using in this automation is Veo 3. Now Veo 3 is expensive to use, right? Might cost you between $3 to $6 per video that you generate, but at the same time, if you're monetizing your channel, it makes total sense. At the same time, if you don't want to spend that much money and you're willing to sacrifice quality for price, then you can go with something cheaper, right? So you've got these options as well. So you could actually get the endpoint, for example, using Kling 2.1, right, which is cheaper. Or you could use, for example, image generator. You could use something like ImageGen or Flux Pro. There's also Veo 2, which is a previous version of Google's Veo, right? And that doesn't give you audio, doesn't give you synced audio, but if you want cheaper outputs, that's another option. So before you comment in, saying it's too expensive or whatever, well, you can switch between APIs and that's down to you and what you want to use. Here's an example of the outputs, but you can see here Veo 3 is by far the best in the world for generating videos. And you can do this via the N8N automation that I've given you today. So if we go to requests over here, you can see my previous requests. So for example, 2 minutes ago, we asked to get the Yeti generated, and it's actually already generated that now, which is great. So let's open this up and we can see what we've generated here. So just to be clear here, we've created the idea of the boss, plug that to Google Sheets, send that over to a prompting agent, then send that over to Fal, and Fal has already generated this within 2 minutes. So let's play this back now. We can play the sound and we'll have a listen.
Hey, look at this crazy ride! I didn't realize we were all part of a human sardine can. Hey, look at this crazy ride!
Alright, so you've got an example of what the video looks like. If you're not happy with it, you can just regenerate it. If you don't like the outputs, here's some previous examples as well that we've built. You also want to make sure in the prompt you always include Yeti. That's why I've included it inside my prompts, because otherwise you don't get many great examples. And then Carlos is asking, okay, does this work for long form videos? If yes, how much would that cost for like an 8-minute long video? For a long form video, I would recommend using CapCut. I've actually created a video on how to do that. It's a lot, well, it's free, right? So you can do that with CapCut right here, or you can actually use HeyGen. I've got another automation on HeyGen as well. So if you type in HeyGen here inside the AI Profit Boardroom, then go to Classroom, you can see we've got an N8N AI automation for HeyGen. HeyGen will generate like an 8-minute long video or a 10-minute long video, whatever you want, using this automation right here. That's much better for long form. Veo 3 is not great for long form because it only generates 8 seconds at a time, which means that, you know, even for a 60-second video, you're looking at like $60 or $30 per minute, right? And so like, if you're creating a video that's longer form, well, that might be, you might be looking at like $300 per video for a long form. It's not worth it, right? It doesn't make sense. So you're better off using something like HeyGen, where you can still do AI videos, but you can automate them and it's way cheaper. Way cheaper. All right, so let's get back to this now. So we've got the output. Here's some other examples of stuff we've built. So this is a Bigfoot example.
Organic. Check it out, folks! Totally organic wild squirrel smoothie, straight from my backyard.
So that's an example of what you can do. And then from here, once you've generated the video, like you can see, then we're going to wait. And I would usually, if you're testing this, you know, just wait 1 second and then you can pin it and then change this to like, you know, 200 seconds to wait for a few minutes before you generate the outputs and try and pull back the results, right? So from here, what you can see is we've got HTTP request, post, URL, that's going to send it to Fal. From there, we're then going to get the URL from Fal, and we've got a get HTTP request module. We're using this endpoint with the dynamic JSON request ID to pull that information from it, right? And then we've got generic credential type, and that's all you need, right? So if we test that step now, that's going to pull in the MP4 that we generated earlier. If we open this up, let's just check that works.
Hey, look at this crazy ride!
So there we go, it's pulled in the URL from the video. And we need that because number one, we want to plug it into Google Sheets. But number two, we also want to be able to send that to Blotato via the API later. So that's why we're trying to gather this information like so, all right? Now, once you've done that, you're then going to send this URL to Sheets, right? The way that I would recommend you do this is you map this idea manually. All right, so if we switch this to map column manually, map it on the idea, and then you're just going to take the information from here, right? So if we go to this section, we put the idea from the previous outputs over here. We just have to unpin this information. We'll test that again. And then we can send that to a Google Sheet, right? So if we pull up an example, here's the URL to Sheets module. and we take that from the HTTP request. Now, once you've done that, you're then going to send this to Blotato. And this will help you with the auto posting, right? Blotato, if you're not familiar with it, is essentially a place where you can send URLs from N8N over to Blotato. It will upload the video and then post it to TikTok, right? So this is how we actually uploaded this video directly to TikTok. Now, to set this up, you can actually use multiple. So you can use TikTok, you can use Facebook, you can use Instagram, etc. So this is a module like you can see. Basically, we're using a JSON module. So the mode is JSON, the format is this, and then we can send that over to TikTok, right? Now, inside Blotato on the back end, let me show you how to set this up. So if we go to Blotato, what you want to do is just grab an API key from Blotato. And then once you've got an API key from Blotato, you're going to plug this in. All right, so you've got it's going to be a HTTP request, post, URL equals this, authentication, none, send headers using fields below. And then the format is Blotato-API-key. You plug in the API key like this, and then you're going to send body, right? So JSON using fields below, name equals URL. And this will take the URL from your spreadsheet and send it over to Blotato. And then from here, we're going to have a new HTTP post, URL, here's a URL that you use, send headers, using fields below, use your API key again, and then you've got your JSON format like so, right? And that's basically how it works. Now, if you wanted to change this section to, for example, Facebook or Instagram, etc., let me show you how to do this. So you can use, for example, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want, right? And you just insert the IDs like so inside a JSON format. I'll paste that inside here so you can steal it from me as well. But that's basically how you set Blotato up. Simple as that, all right? So that's going to send it over to TikTok, and then you can see an example of what this looks like, right? We've also done it here as well. So this was another video, and that video we just posted like literally a minute ago, and it's already getting like good views. So you can see here, it's already got 32 views on that video, and we literally just posted it. So it works pretty well, easy to do. You can automate all of it. And literally all you're doing is getting an idea, sending it to Google Sheets, getting the prompt, sending that to VO3 via file. From there, you pull out the URL, send that to Google Sheets, and then fire it off to Blotato and post on TikTok, whatever you want, right? Simple as. Now, if you want to get the JSON file from me, feel free to download that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can then import this into N8N, and you're good to go on that. This AI Profit Boardroom as well comes with all my best N8N automations. You can also connect with me personally, ask me any questions that you have. And additionally, inside the classroom here, you can see all these different courses. If you like N8N templates, you're going to love this section right here. Comes with loads of different N8N templates, like you can see, including like a one-click book generator, shorts clipper, music generator, AI avatar, video generator, different VO3 automations, even like a Firecrawl Reddit bot, like Almost everything you can imagine is inside here. And also, if you have other ideas of what you want us to build for you, you can actually request it inside this post. And then each week we create a video personalized to you, and we just build all the automations you want to see. Additionally, if you want to get all of this stuff just implemented for you as a service, feel free to book in a free AI strategy session. And on that call, we can look at your business, audit your time, figure out what's going to save you the most time, and then actually build that stuff for you once you become a client. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. I got AI to generate and create a full book in one single click using N8N. And this created a 20,000 word book like you can see in this document. It's actually 69 pages, pretty crazy. If we actually open up the book preview, like you can see right here, we've got the introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2, etc. Nicely formatted with tables, links to my funnels, and it's actually reading pretty nice, as you can see right here. It even recommends different tools to use. The content is written better than most books I've written, right? And the way that this is done is using a simple N8N automation, like you can see right here. I'm going to run you through it today and show you exactly how it works step by step. Plus, you can even do it for free because you can use free APIs inside this. As you can see, for example, inside this module, we actually have a AI agent using Gemini, and I'll come on to that in a second. So how does this work step by step? Well, the first step here is to use a schedule trigger, like you can see. So you can generate books every 24 hours if you want to leave this running on autopilot, and it will from there come up with ideas to generate. So for example, we've got an AI agent. I've connected this to OpenAI, but if you wanted to use it for free, you could use Gemini or Google. And then from here, we have a text resource and message a model, right? Now the model we're using is ChatGPT 4.0 latest, and essentially this is going to come up with ideas for us. So if we open this up, let me pull this up for you. It says, you are an AI designed to generate compelling ideas for nonfiction books. It must solve a problem, blah, 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 make it nonfiction and fun. Each output should follow this exact format, and here's what to do, right? And so if you've ever wanted to create a book in like one single click, you can do it. This will even come up with the idea for you. If you don't want to have the idea done for you, then just change the prompt, right? So you can say, okay, create a book about, and then insert the topic. I can show you some examples in a second, but essentially you can see it's gone from nothing, not even an idea, to come on up with the idea, inbox zero, life max, mastering email without losing your sanity, right? And here's the idea for the book. Here's what it does, etc. Here's how to do it, right? And so it's come up with the idea, and then from here, we need to come up with the prompt for the book. So you can see inside this section, it's taken the title, the idea, the overview, and the status, right? And this is an AI agent module, text resource, messenger module, using ChatGPT 4.0 latest. And if we open this up, basically what this prompt is doing is said, you're an AI book writer, keep your prompt short, clear, and easy to understand. Your task is to generate a 13-chapter book outline on the core idea. Now, the content that we've generated here is 20,000 words, I believe. Yeah, 20,000 words. If you wanted to push this to 30,000 words, then you would just generate more chapters, right? So you can see here that we've got 13 chapters. If you wanted to generate 30,000 words, then you would say, right, okay, change this to 20 chapters, right? And you just extend this list, which you can edit manually. So From here, I've also said, write as if you're documenting the scene, not telling a story. Here's what it should feel like. Here's a tone. And it's also taking the dynamic outputs, right? So you can see that for this title, about email mastery, for example, it's taking all of these different details, right? So let's test this out. I can come up with a new idea on the spot. We'll unpin and test this, right? And we'll see what it comes up with next. So now it's come up with the procrastination cure. Train your brain to get stuff done, right? So we can pin that as an idea. And then inside the prompting idea, we can test that step. And that's going to come up with the ideas for all the chapters, right? So chapter 1 teaches readers how to detect common procrastination triggers. Chapter 2 teaches readers how the brain's reward system interacts with avoidance behavior, right? And it's got all these different chapters right here, right? So everything's personalized and dynamic to whatever we want. From here, we're actually going to format the prompts using JavaScript, right? And so we're using all these prompts from here as chapters. And the reason for that is because we want to take those prompts and plug them through an AI agent. So if we test this out, let me show you how this works, right? So it's taking all these chapters over here, and then it's breaking this down, right, into a nice, easy to read format for the AI agent. And so you've basically got your own book creation tool that can come up with the idea, the chapters, the book overview, personalized to you. You can add any personalizations here that you want as well. So you could say, right from first person to Julian Goldie, or my agency selling this, create the book about that, right? And so it all kind of subtly shields whatever you sell. And so from here, we've got the idea, we've got the prompts, we've formatted that into neat chapters, like you can see over here. And then on the next section, what we need to do is we need to plug this through an AI book writer. Now, this is going to take a few minutes to generate the content. And the reason for that is because you're generating so much content at once, right? So you can see this is quite a long, complex prompt. I'm actually going to test this whilst I explain it to you, right? So we'll wait for that to load. But in the meantime, let me show you how this works, right? So we've said you're an AI book writer, your writing style is this, no fluff, no intro waffle, blah, blah, blah. Because otherwise what the book will do with the AI is it will start like waffling about, okay, here's what the book should be about, here's what we're going to write, right? And the same inside the formatting rules. We want it to be a markdown output. And the reason for that is because then it's going to be neat and organized when we copy and paste all the content from here into the Markdown Live Preview. So if we paste that in, you can see that on markdownlivepreview.com, we've got all of this neatly formatted, like you can see, right? And by the way, if you just want to steal this automation from me, I've actually got the N8N book writer template over here that you can steal from me inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So if you just go to the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments and description, go to the one-click book generator inside the N8N templates in the classroom, and then from here, download the JSON file, and you can actually import that into N8N as a blueprint. Pretty simple and easy. So from here, we've got all the nice formatting rules. You know, each chapter must be 1,000 words. Use H1 for chapter titles, H2 for section headers, H3 for subsections, and then, you know, 1 sentence per line. We want it to be neatly formatted. So if you actually go back to this, you see how this is nice and easy to read. It's not like your typical book where there's long, boring walls of text. Like, everything here is easy to scan through, to read. It would print out very nicely. It would look great. Lots of nice bullet points, lots of nice tables, etc. Like, the formatting is designed to be on point. And then from here, we've got like break up long paragraphs, avoid the dense text. I just want to see where we're up to as well. So this is still generating the text, as you can see. And then we've asked it to like include little emojis for pro tips, warnings, quick wins, side notes, etc. Use this for checklists, use horizontal dividers, like everything you would need to make it really nicely formatted. Now you can see inside this section, when it's writing the chapters, it's actually formatting the chapters dynamically, right? So for example, chapter 1 is going to be about this, and it pulls in the overview from chapter 1. So the AI agent knows exactly what to talk about in chapter 1, right? It's all dynamically formatted. Same for all of these other chapters, and that's why it's going to take so long to generate the content, because, you know, it's generating like 20,000 or 25,000 words at once, right? And so we've said include these funnel links clearly and cleanly throughout, especially in block quotes after 2 to 3 sections. So as we look through this book, the formatting is beautiful, lots of nice bullet points, lots of nice call outs. It's even got links to our funnel, so if we click on that, that will send readers directly to our funnel pages. everything that we need, right? And so it's quite a long prompt, but it's going to generate the best possible outputs. And then whilst that's waiting for that to load, let me show you how the rest of it works. So we've got a Google Docs set up over here. Now you don't have to use Google Docs. Like, you could send that over to WordPress or whatever you want, right? Carlos says, I was already planning on selling this type of automation for a couple of $1,000s. You have no idea how much you just blessed me right now, so happy to help. And you can see inside this section, what we've got is a Google Docs module that's taking the resource of document, creating a new document inside my Google Drive, inside this folder, right? So this is dynamic, whatever folder you want it linked to. And then it's using the title right here, right? So if we go to my book section over here, it's created a Google document with the title of the book. So we've got it neatly saved inside each Google Drive folder, right? And then if I just want to check all the books I've created, boom, I can just go to this Google Drive folder, right? So how do you get the ID? You get the ID from this section over here, right? It's inside the URL of Google Drive. And then you might be wondering, okay, but how do you set up the Google Docs account, right? This gets a little bit more tricky, to be honest with you. So you can see inside here, we've got this section, and it's got the redirect URL, the client ID. So that this redirect URL is always the same for N8N. The client ID you can get from your Google Cloud account, and it doesn't cost you any money. And then the client secret you get from your Google Cloud account as well, right? If you want to set this up, let me show you how. So all you do, you go to Google Cloud. From here, you're going to create a new project. So you can see I'm on the generative language client project, for example. Then you're going to go to APIs and services. We've got the Google Docs Drive API running like so. So you want to make sure you enable this API. And then if you're wondering, okay, how do you set this all up? So you actually get a bunch of documentation from N8N on how to set this up. I'll put this inside the video notes. But essentially here, you're going to set up OAuth. So you just create a Google Console project, enable APIs, configure OAuth, create the OAuth, and then you've got your N8N credentials, right? Like you can see. And then you just want to make sure that you enable Google Docs. And once you've enabled Google Docs, you can just sign in with Google over here, link this all together, and you're good to go on that, all right? So that's still generating the video. It might take a few more minutes, as I mentioned. And then from here, what we do is we actually send all the content from the book, as you can see. So we're using a Google Docs module, resource equals document, operation equals update. We take the doc ID and we simplify it. Then we do text, insert, body, and we take the output from the AI agent and we plug that into our Google Doc, right? So you can see all this content right here was inserted from the AI agent into the Google Doc directly. And then what I like to do is just log this into a Google Sheet, right? So if we go to this Google Sheet over here, this has all my information, right? So it has, for example, the link to the Google Doc, the production is done because it's been created, the title and the idea of the book, right? So this is all ready to go. If you wanted to sell it as an info product, or, you know, you can do whatever you want for it. A lot of people would, for example, want to do a lead generation, sort of lead magnet, and you could create a book in one click using this process. Obviously, you want to fact check all this stuff, proofread it before you publish it, but you know, you get the point, right? And so it's created that book right here, as you can see, right? So I'm going to pin that just so you've got the data ready to go. As you're testing this, you want to pin each module, which you can do by right-clicking and pinning. So you've got the data and you don't need to keep running it every time. Then we can test this step, so let's test that out now. All right, and what this is going to do is create the Google Drive doc. So if we refresh the Google Drive, we've now got the Procrastination Cure, which is a book we just created, right? But it's empty. Why is it empty? Because we next need to write and create the content, right? So we've created the book content, we've created the new Google Doc, but now what we need to do next is now create the content inside the book, which is what this module does. So if we wait for this to load, it's going to update this document, which is from the previous module, and then it's going to insert the text from the AI agent into that document, right? So that document that was previously empty before, if we open it up again, you've now got all the content like you can see. And if we take that, let's see how long it is. So it's 22,000 words. If we take that and we go into Markdown Live Preview, we'll open that up, we've got the whole book ready to go, right? So it's got the intro right there, chapter 1, it's all neatly formatted, and now you can create content around whatever you want it to do, right? So we can pin that, and then if we go to here, we test this step, so we'll unpin and test that. That's now going to update the Google Doc in the sheet, right? And now it's just updated with the details of the idea of the book, the name of the book, it's done as production, and we've got the link to the book over here. Boom shakalaka, right? Really easy. Now, if you want to get all of this content neatly formatted inside the Google Doc, right? You're probably wondering, okay, what do I do with this? So once you've gone to markdownlivepreview.com, you can grab all the content that you've just formatted, grab that, plug that back into the book, paste that in, here we go, and now we've got a neatly formatted book. Beautiful, right, with all the chapters and everything. Right, so you got the first chapter all neatly formatted right here. It's also got some sections where you can insert like nice images as well. But yeah, that's your book ready to go. 101 pages ready to go, right? Now let's have a look. Is it AI slop or is it actually good? All right, let's read it. So here's just a random sentence from the book. If we have a look here, it says, humans are notoriously bad at predicting future mental states. Psychologists call this effective forecasting error. You think future me will be more motivated, more energetic, less tired. Future me will want to do that unpleasant task. This is a delusion, right? That actually reads really nicely. Like, I like the heading, I like the formatting, I like the way it's written, I like the tense it's written in, right? It's nicer and easier to read than most content. So this isn't like AI slop. Obviously you want to format it and proofread it before you publish, but you can see how powerful and easy it is, right? Now, if I wanted to make this more specific to my business, right? So for example, for me, I run the AI Profit Boardroom. I run, for example, my SEO agency as well, right? So what I could do inside the AI idea generator is I can open up this section and I can say, right, create a book as Julian Goldie written about, right? And I'll say, and I'll just put something AI themed, right? So AI themed subtly advertises my AI agency and my AI Profit Boardroom community. Talks about the future of AI, positions me as a thought leader, inspires people, and gives business owners something valuable that they can learn, right? Something like that. Okay, so if we test that step now, what that's actually going to do is it's going to generate a better idea for us that's more personalized to my business, right? So if you're trying to use this and you're thinking, okay, but I don't want to write a book about procrastination, like I want to write something that's more related to me and my business and who we are and what we do, well, you can use this process and just personalize the themes a bit more, right, to whatever you sell. So if we wait for this to load, we should get a much better idea back. So you can see it's generating the idea over here. Might take a little while to generate that. In the meantime, you've seen the Markdown Live Preview method, you've seen the Google Drive documents. I've shown you the 101 page document that we've just automated in one click. I've shown you how the content reads and how easy it is to set up and how good it looks as well. And then from here, we should be good to go, all right? So for example, here it's come up with the title, AI Empire, How to Dominate the Future with Smarter Business Moves. Idea is a strategic manual that shows entrepreneurs how to harness AI tools to scale and future-proof their business, whilst introducing them to Julian Goldie's AI Profit Boardroom and agency services. That's what we like, right? We want to subtly sell and send traffic from whatever we're creating naturally to the next steps of buying from us, right? So it actually makes you money, you monetize it. So from here, let's generate the prompts now. We'll test this step. Now it's coming up with the chapters, right? So we've created the chapters right here. Then we're going to test the formatting prompt. As you can see right there, and then we just need to generate the content, right? This is the most time consuming bit, so we'll test that step right here. If you want to know how much does this cost, so let's go over to OpenRouter and we'll check how much this costs, because it's using the Gemini API. So if we go to activity, we can see that we've used Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview here. A lot of tokens, right? But the good thing about Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview when we're generating the content is number one, it has a long context window, which means that it can generate bigger and better outputs. And number two, is very, very cheap, right? So if we look at the outputs here, it's a lot cheaper than using your normal sort of APIs. So if you were using, for example, Claude 3.7 Sonnet or Claude 4 Sonnet, it would cost you a lot more money. But if you use Gemini Preview, it's going to be way cheaper. So if we look at the cost of creating that book, and bear in mind, like normally you would pay a writer maybe $1,000 at least, and you'd have to probably wait about a month or 2 months to generate a 100-page book, right? Now you can generate a 100-page book that reads better than most writers in one click, and you get it right away, plus it only costs you 39 cents, right? Pretty crazy. It's scary. It's actually scary, let's be honest. And so that's going to generate right now. You can see it's using OpenRouter. If you want to check the OpenRouter setup, so here's what we've got. We've got OpenRouter, and the model is Google Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview 0506, which is one of the latest models. And then that will just generate the content for us. Later from there, we can generate this to create a document, update the document, and then publish that to Google Sheets. But that's basically it. So if you want to steal the automation from me, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. I've included all the links from today along with this JSON file that you can just download. And then if you just want to quickly create this workflow yourself, and obviously you add your own APIs and your own Google Docs authentication, but you would just go to import from file, load the JSON file, boom shakalaka. In one click, you've got the whole template ready to go, right? And it's all customized to you. You can edit this however you want, right? And then you can create as many books as you want, $39 a pop. Or, even crazier, if you want to go really cheap, in fact, if you want to go free, then you can just type in Gemini over here, and you would use the free API from Gemini. So if you type in models over here, you can see you can use like DeepSeek for free. You've got Google Gemini 2.0 Flash Experimental for free, Gemma, Mistral, whatever you want, right? So there's loads of free APIs you could create books with directly there. And so that will take a little while to load, but you get the point. So feel free to get the automation inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. Simple workflow, but extremely powerful, creates great content like I've shown you. You can also find all these other N8N automations. We actually update this every single day pretty much at this point. You can join 677 community members who are all as focused and serious about growing and scaling their business AI as you want. And also you can request new automations every week, right? So for example here, last week, we had 63 people request different automations. I built all of the automations for people. I made a personalized video for them and showed them exactly how to build and what to build using their requests. Top of that, it's the only place that I personally connect with community members, and additionally, you can share your wins with us each week, like you can see. So we celebrate our wins. You can get 3 live weekly coaching calls. You can jump on the coaching calls, and if you can't make them, you can watch them back. Plus it comes with all my best SOPs, automations, workflows, templates, etc. And that is directly inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Now, if you're like, Julian, I kind of just want you to automate all of this for me. I want you to do all this and implement it for my business. Well, feel free to book in a free AI strategy session, link in the comments description. And on that free AI strategy session, what we can do is look at your business, figure out where you're wasting the most time, figure out exactly how to automate that. And then if it makes sense, we can just implement that for you. All right. Links in the comments description for that. Appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.